Portland Jigsaw Masters is
Okay, guys,
sponsored
got
by
about
Portland
10 minutes
Puzzle
to go.
Company.
Please find your
Portland
table.
Puzzle Company is based right here in Portland, where we masterfully produce every puzzle piece ourselves. As one of the largest puzzle manufacturers in the U.S., we're always able to make high-quality custom puzzles. Whether you want us to make a one-of-a-kind gift, or you're an artist who wants to turn your art into a puzzle, we got you covered. Visit us online or in person.
Welcome to the 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters pre-show. We're in our final round for the individual finals. I'm Rob Shields. I'm the host of the podcast Peace Talks. And joining me now for this final exciting round is puzzling coach, commentator, and 8th and 9th wonder of the world, Jim Eakins. Hey, Jim, welcome back for the last round.
Thanks for having me here, Rob. I'm kind of sad to see it end, but I'm excited for the round coming up.
It's the same. And speaking of being excited, I'm excited for the guests that we have to round out our experts who are helping us understand how competitive puzzling works, what to be thinking about. Out there somewhere, hopefully, Victor Kaspacek. Are you there? Hey, Victor, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. And how are you?
Excellent. So glad to see you. Welcome to the Portland Jigsaw Masters. I appreciate you bringing your wisdom to the table.
Well, thank you for having me. It's very exciting. I have been watching different events, and it's been a roller coaster.
I bet you're right. It's been great to see you commenting in the chat, so I appreciate you contributing there.
Oh, man. So some people who are watching may not know who you are. You are the current World Series champion. You've won numerous contests. You put up crazy fast times. Is there anything you can't do when it comes to puzzling?
Well, to be clear, I only won one contest.
I've seen the EJJs, my friend.
Well, you can, I think every person has something that they cannot do in puzzles, and many things that they can. So it's just a matter of what you can and can't, and what you are able and what you're willing to train.
Give us a little clue for those of folks who may be new to competitive jigsaw puzzling. So aside from really fast times, what makes a great puzzler?
My answer probably won't be very original, but I would say that it takes talent, but mostly practice. So as we all know, all people are different. People have talent, people don't have talent, and what unites us all is training. And sometimes people that feel like maybe they weren't born for something, they just need to train more, but they still can do the things that the talented people can do. And this is very encouraging for everyone, and I hope that even if we have a person in the room that thinks that they won't be able to puzzle as fast as like the fastest people, I think they will if they just try hard enough and take their time.
I really appreciate that you say that, and I feel like in a lot of ways you're the poster child for exactly that sort of thing, because you were a great puzzler and then you were an amazing puzzler because you put in the work. Like, you put in the reps, you put in the thought process, like you attacked this problem from every possible place to get to the place that you are. I'm curious though, how much did you have already a sense when you got started that you had the talent part, sort of the innate capabilities that you could build on with this training, or did you discover that as part of the process?
Well, to be completely fair, I think it was yesterday actually when I was talking with Maya from Germany, and we were discussing in detail why we both think that we are not talented at all.
Why do you think that? Don't you have some evidence? I'm sure you could look at a trophy or two.
I mean, yeah, but for me, this is just a representation of hard work I did, and maybe I'm just very delusional, which is like fair point. But yeah, I just think that the things I can do mainly come from the time I spent and like the mental capacity I needed to bring into it and to sacrifice many things in my private life. And not many people are able to do it. Not people want to do it. And I think I was just very lucky that I had an opportunity to just go 100 and maybe 150% into speed puzzling, and it paid off.
What was your approach to practicing or grinding it out that got you progressing in a way that you were excited to build on that? Was there like any early wins where you were like, oh, okay, this is giving me in the direction I want. I'm excited to do more.
Oh yeah, definitely. My first very big win was I think it was completing one of my first 500 pieces that I had that I was doing multiple times to complete it in under an hour. That was a very big day. I vividly remember talking with my friend on a tram. We were just going somewhere and he was like totally not into puzzles. He was like, I did a puzzle in under an hour, and it was like, okay.
So it was just hitting that first time goal where you were like, all of the work that you've been doing obviously shows up in the numbers that really kind of kicked you forward again.
Exactly. And all time goals, I would say, are equal. It just takes more or less work and time to get there. But yeah, it's mainly that, but also being able to find people that share the hobby with you. This is very important. So we already saw pairs and teams yesterday, which is like an evidence of that. But for solos, you really have to have this inner motivation and kind of this grind in yourself. Of course, not all people are like this, right? We have people that their mindset is mostly about having fun in the competitions. Those are the talented people, and I'm not.
The people who have the built-in talent. So when you come to a final round, as opposed to the heats, are there any things that go through your mind differently? Anything that you prepare for differently? Do you have to change, like manage some excitement or nerves? What changes from the regular rounds to the final round for you?
Well, the stakes are different for sure, because when you are at center level of speed, you are just kind of like assuming automatically that you're going to get to the finals, so it doesn't really matter. So it's not taking a big toll on your mental when you're in it. In the final, it's quite different, and it just so happened we had Polish nationals like a week ago, and this was a good example of me not really like handling my stress well enough. I did way better in Munich for World Series, but here in Polish nationals, when you're just sitting at your table and you see on your left is Veronica, it's like, okay. Very normal.
Well, Victor, what are some things that the puzzlers in the room here for the finals now need to do for them to do their best? Like, what are some tactics that they might need to do pre-game wise to set themselves up for success here?
In general, I think that it's the best to just not think about the competition, maybe think about something else. But all people have different opinions on that. But this is what works for me, just to think about something else, or maybe to talk to your table partner and just talk about dogs. Like, just do something else that is going to take your mind away. But also, especially for this competition, I would say that you just need to remember that the worst thing happened already in the last round.
Wait, what would that have been? So you have a perspective on the last round. Give us maybe a 30 seconds on what you thought of the last round.
Oh, I thought it was interesting. I would be struggling with that puzzle. I would actually love to do it, but I know that with competition stress, it would be very difficult to do.
So what's the most useful thing that people should be focused on as they get started here? Is it, it sounds like what you're saying is it really you're focused on things elsewhere entirely, but is there anything that you should be thinking about as you get set up to actually have the competition underway?
Well, one thing everyone can say to themselves is that this is the moment that like we were working for, and like at this point it doesn't really matter what we do. We trained, we didn't train, like we did what we could, what we wanted to do, what our capabilities were, and now it doesn't matter. We are at the final, we are just going to do what we can. Let's try to do our best, but if we cannot do our best because of stress, because of the puzzle image, ultimately it doesn't really matter. And I think this is one thing that everyone can think about when they are puzzling. Like, I can do well, I can do not so well, but still this is a competition and it's going to be a next one and the next one. And let's just keep on improving, right?
Those are great words to end on here, Victor. So thank you for joining us at the pregame. We'll bring you back in when we have a handful of finishers to give us some perspective on what you thought up to this point. But thanks for hanging out with us. Looks like we lost him already, but hopefully he heard that the thank you. And we will be back to kick off the final round at the 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters with the individual finals right after this.
Portland Jigsaw Masters is sponsored by Portland Puzzle Company. Portland Puzzle Company is based right here in Portland, where we masterfully produce every puzzle piece ourselves. As one of the largest puzzle manufacturers in the US, we're always able to make high-quality custom puzzles. Whether you want us to make a one-of-a-kind gift, or you're an artist who wants to turn your art into a puzzle, we got you covered. Visit us online or in person.
Let's go.
Hello, puzzle people! Let's get ready for our Portland Jigsaw Masters 2026 individual finals. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it here. I know that was a goal for many of you. We're here. This is great. In front of you, there should be a 500-piece puzzle. If you don't have a puzzle in front of you, give me an oh no. All right, if you have a 500-piece puzzle in front of you, give me a yay. Huzzah! I know we're all a little tuckered out. I am excited for this round. It's going to be really, really fantastic. We're going to go over a quick bunch of the ground rules. You're going to do a countdown. After the countdown, you'll begin to do the puzzle as quickly as humanly possible. If you have a missing piece towards the end, we'll do a 10-second countdown. The race is then between you finding the missing piece or the 10-second deduction, whichever comes first. Sound good? Fantastic. I want us to take a quick look at all these lovely people in the high visibility vests. Give them a round of applause. These are our volunteer judges. They're doing great. And this fine gentleman in the hat over here, this is Andrew Weatherly, our head judge, the enforcer. His rule is law. Just to give you an idea of the stakes for this round, there is the eternal glory that comes with being first at the Portland Jigsaw Masters in this, as well as the much touted cardigan of greatness. Give me an ooh, ah. Yeah. I heard an ooh, there wasn't much ah. There we go, all right. I was making sure. With that said, we're going to get going shortly here. Give yourselves a little shake out. Loosen up. Get ready to rumble. Are there any questions, concerns, comments, things to make fun of me for before we get going? Go on. You guys are awesome. All right, assume the puzzling position, and we're going to get going here as soon as Andrew gives us the countdown.
All right, everybody. We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's puzzle!
All right, and we're off and puzzling for the final time in the 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters. This is the individual finals. I'm Rob Shields, host of the podcast Peace Talks, and joining me for this last round, this exciting round where it all comes together, is master commentator Jim Eakins. Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. Thanks for having me. I am excited for this round. I know we're going to get the music going in the room here shortly.
It's very quiet.
Yeah, it's a little quiet all of a sudden. I think we'll get that rolling. But if you look around the room, everybody is intently focusing on the initial flip and sort. Keep in mind that the top puzzlers are looking to get that the initial flip and pulls done around the 3-minute line or so.
All right, let's take a look at this puzzle here. Looks like we have a bunch of fruit.
Oh, there's the image. This is called Farmers Market Hall by Kelsey Sweet. I really like this image. It's a beautiful gradient with detail parts in it. What do you think of it, Rob?
Man, I think that this is going to be fast. I mean, compared to some of the other puzzles that we've seen throughout this competition, this one seems like a joy to potentially engage with. It's got a gradient going from left, right, top to bottom. It's very color block differentiated. There's a lot of nice shapes. Even a person like me might enjoy doing a puzzle like this. But give us your expert opinion of this one.
I think this is definitely one where puzzlers can treat this in a few different ways. I'm curious if we're going to have several of our puzzlers make a full border build before really approaching this. I have a hunch that the text that's sitting here in a few different spots.
Flick it on.
Having a mic rearrangement here. I think that several of the text sections will pop out early because it has a background. It has a background that shows up really well. This is a really good island building kind of puzzle because there's textures all over the place that puzzlers can gravitate towards. Even this bowl of blueberries, if they get that outline first, they can then dive in and do some shape work on the inside. These cherries up in the upper left-hand corner. This is going to be really interesting to see how everybody tackles it because there's something for everybody in different directions.
All right, let's see how people are approaching it. There it is, live out in the wild at 2 minutes, 18 seconds in. So we're expecting to see a lot of flips being picked up and completed in the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, and as we come up on the 2 minute and 30-second line, remember that if you're in the chat, you can put your estimate as to what you think the time is going to be for our first place finishers. The closest person to that value, Price is Right, I don't think it's Price is Right rules, it's just closest.
Nope, you can go over.
Will win the puzzle and have it sent to them. You can see Hannah Doyle here cruising through the rest of the build, and this is one of the things that's fun is that she has a separation between where the build field is going to be and where the piece pile is, and that kind of separation keeps her really organized going into the assembly.
So you said that she's separating out the build field, and obviously those are where her edge pieces have landed. So is the build field going to... So that's going to become the build field in terms of the fact that she will be assembling the edges to define the field itself.
Yeah, usually we say that this whole area over here on her right is where she's going to be assembling. Once the frame is in place, then that becomes the targeted zone that she can place. I also, if you look here, she's taking the edge pieces and she's delivering them about where they're going to end up in the space, so that way she doesn't have to make a few pieces and then readjust them multiple times. The accuracy here is what saves her time down the line.
Now, she's looking at the box a lot, which I recall that she does a fair amount, especially in the early phase, where she uses the time as she's putting together like the edge or getting some initial pulls done to really become acquainted with the puzzle so that it is there in her head more as the puzzle progresses.
Yeah, and that's Hannah is such a good pick and place puzzler that using the image really helps make sure that she has that memorized down the line. I like how Hannah was working on the reds, but if you look here, that's Mari Black. Similar tactic, but instead of going for the reds early on, Mari started at the bottom with a lot of those purples, and then is switching up to the reds. And that's kind of what in the last round we were talking about orders, doing certain sections of the puzzle in different orders. Sometimes the perfect order doesn't matter as much as just the same level that they're on. So you could do blues then reds or reds then blues, but it won't really affect either side as long as you're cruising through it.
Yeah, and you can see that Mari's handwork is very quick. Hannah has such precision that I feel like we don't see as much speed in her as we do just dead accuracy. Like if she picks up a piece, it's going where it's going. But it's clear that Mari also relies on or has the skill of just quickness. Is that something she practices?
Wow, yeah, she absolutely does. But look at Jean Reuter here. She has several chunks of text already worked out. We are crossing the 5-minute line. She didn't go for that border initially. She just went, hey, I can see these chunks of text that go together. Let me build those groups and set them up. And now she's backtracking to go for the border. I'll also mention that Jean decided to put the box in a landscape orientation. Even though it looks like it should be in portrait mode, she just rotates it sideways, and it doesn't make too much of a visual difference with the way that this puzzle is.
That's a really great point. It's not like there's a human standing on a piece of ground. It's more or less an overhead shot of a bunch of things which can sit any direction you want it to.
Yeah, I think this puzzle might run pretty quick. Rob, what kind of time estimates are you thinking at this stage?
Well, I think it will be less than an hour. I think it will be less than some of the other ones that we have seen. I couldn't possibly tell you, but I think that this would be a comfortably under 40 sort of minute puzzle.
There's a good chance. I'm with you. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say 38:22. I'm going to say 38:22, and as always, I want to be wrong, and I want some of these speedsters to absolutely crush that time. You can look in the upper right-hand corner, Kelly Walter cruising away on her assembly as well. She has more of a rainbow setup for where her pieces are. Instead of it being all to one side like what Hannah Doyle has in the lower left-hand corner, Kelly's is spread out all around the build field, so that way she has easy access to pull the pieces down to where she wants them to live.
Any advantage to the style, to the orientation that Hannah's got versus the way that Kelly has it?
I think in terms of the table setup, it gives it's going to give Hannah a little bit more space to work with because there's more room up at the top, and she can get her arms left and right a little bit easier. Whereas with Kelly's orientation right now, because it's going to be vertical, she's going to have to reach across more of the puzzle, and her eyes are going to have to look upwards a little bit more, and that can sometimes slow things down. But if a puzzler is comfortable with that and they've been doing a lot of that kind of setup, it shouldn't bother them too much.
So Hannah's trading off a bit of reach required to get to some of those farther out pieces. Do you imagine that is something that is worth thinking about? As you said, it's really what they're used to and how they can do. But as you've said repeatedly, every little bit matters, especially when you're in the high-end competition. So do you feel like that there's any challenge with having pieces so remote off to her right-hand side?
I think it's a thing of comfort at that stage, because Hannah does this pick and play style. That extra moment of looking over all the pieces to decide what she wants to grab is enough of a buffer to make sure that she's really accurate with that. Whereas sometimes if they're immediately accessible, it can actually be a little bit of a detriment because your eyes are seeing things faster than your brain processes them. But it really comes down to a style thing. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, one of the strengths. That's Rebecca. Thank you so much. She almost has that border filled out, and she has her pieces all over on the left-hand side. I like how she's put the box on the same side as the assembly field, so that way she's using that as a reference for when she starts putting the pieces together, as opposed to when she's looking for them during the search. Now,
in a lot of competitions where these people are going to have been competing, the amount of space that they have is something like half of the space that they have here. We're seeing them all spread way out. You can see everybody that we've seen on the screen here is over well over half the table. Is that they're taking advantage of it, but they're used to puzzling in a much smaller space? Is there anything that downside to having so much available space?
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse. You know, the further away those pieces get from the build field, the more you have to travel to get to them. I know that for this particular brand of puzzles, the pieces are a little bit bigger, so the more spread out you can be, the easier that it is to see them individually. The downside is that you might have to travel more since it's farther away from where you're working.
In the upper right-hand corner, Zinpua, which I just want to point out, wearing a Peace Talks logo shirt. So good for her, supporting the brand. And she is actually right in front of Irina Shvedchenko, who is also wearing a Peace Talks shirt. So, a lot of people out there representing good Jigsaw puzzle content. I love to see that.
I would say some of the top Jigsaw puzzle content. If you're interested in speed puzzle competitions at all, definitely check out the Peace Talks podcast. And maybe even order one of those shirts. They're super soft and cozy. I adore them.
As I like to say, it is the #1 English language audio only speed puzzling dedicated podcast in the world.
But look at Zin's setup. Zin's one of the puzzlers that tends to stand as long as she can while puzzling, and she's also doing that portrait mode setup. All those pieces are on the left. I also want to point out, look at how tightly packed those pieces are instead of being super spread out like we were talking earlier.
Trying to figure out who we're looking at in the upper left-hand corner.
We'll hopefully double check here shortly, but it's fascinating. She's actually taken the poster out of the box entirely, rather than relying on a box top holder. She's made it where she's just using the poster and can go right on top of it. It's an interesting placement here to actually have the image between the build field and where the pieces are. It might make it a little bit easier to scan either side of that. That's a really cool tactic.
That's Isabella Dos Santos.
Oh, it is Isabella. Okay.
Yeah, from the Portland area.
Isabella, one of the powerful local puzzlers here. She's been doing fantastic in all of the rounds so far, and is absolutely cruising at this stage. Lower left-hand corner, you can see the progress that Hannah Doyle's made. Hannah's one of the top puzzlers in the world and in the nation. She's won or been in the top 5 multiple times. But look at the progress she's making on those reds. That strawberry jam. Closed in pretty quickly, and now she's starting to make little clusters. It might be even pick and placed of some of those other jars of text. And in the upper right hand corner, we have a look at Irina, who instead of going for the jam, is finishing up that section of purple. I think it might be some of the beets down there.
And joining us back at the live stream is Kelsey Sweet. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm great.
So I think that this is a wonderful contrast to the most recent puzzle that we've seen in competition. So tell us first a little bit about yourself and your company, and then tell us a little bit about this puzzle.
Yeah, so I've been creating puzzles and prints for a few years now, and this is my, I believe, 4th puzzle that I've done, and all of them have been for the Portland Jigsaw Masters. This one was the first one that I've done for speed puzzling completely. Started it a few months ago and was just really excited to have something like this in the competition.
I was thrown that there's a puzzle of yours here that doesn't have mushrooms in it, apparently.
I know. It's a little bit different. I do still have strawberries, so there's a little bit of that. But yeah, it's a little bit of a different style, but I really loved the rainbow concept, and yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot for puzzlers to grab onto here in terms of objects and shapes and textures and colors. So were you making it to try and have as many ins as possible for a speed puzzler?
Yeah, I wanted to have little projects. I thought about what would be the most fun puzzle to do, and no matter what, I wasn't sure where it would land, like if it was going to be a duo or a team, but I just wanted to do something that was very fun and light and colorful, and yeah.
So do you expect this is going to be fast?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think it's going to be fast. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be fast. I think the only thing would be the cherries on the top left, because they're all the same color, but I don't know. I think it might be pretty fast.
Well, and with a random cut, they might be able to get that outline and use a lot of shape to get through it pretty quickly. So I think a lot of different tactics can work here really well. How much thought were you putting into the direction that you wanted the gradient to sit here? Because it's really cool to see the purples in the lower left and then going up to the oranges. Like, what was your thought process behind the color groupings?
It was central to the design. So I spent a lot of time looking up green fruits and vegetables.
I was going to say, do you have to spend a lot of time looking at food?
Yeah, I looked at a lot of different kinds of fruit, and then I'm like, what would be, like, some things were just like too weird to throw in, but
Oh, well, we have a couple of questions from the chat. One is, what is your favorite fruit? and how often have you put this puzzle together yourself?
This is the first time I'm seeing it in puzzle form. So because this was so recent, I'm seeing it out with everybody today. So, and then my favorite fruit, I love cuties, like the little oranges that I kind of have in the top corner. I could just snack on those all day. I also love bananas. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of the puzzlers are going to agree with you. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, those cuties went in
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I was going to say you were concerned about the cherries, but we're seeing a lot of people anchor on those cherries
Oh, yeah.
really early. You can see Hannah in the lower left-hand corner has got that knocked out. I would think we were looking at Kathy Reuter earlier has got that knocked out. So it is an area of nice. It's got a compact set of pieces. It's covering a fairly small area. It's easily recognizable. It's a saturated color of a particular kind. So I think it's actually pretty attractive to put that together.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of empty spaces. Like the plaid is throughout, but there's so few.
Oh wow!
You just said plaid, and both of us went plaid.
Yeah, you can see it in
Yeah.
the background just a little bit, but it is sitting on this like blue striped background. That's really cool.
Jim, do you think that is something that the puzzlers are going to notice, or do you feel like there's enough upfront artifacts for them to grab onto that the background isn't really a heavy player in this assembly?
I think the puzzlers are definitely going to notice. Whether they use it or not is a different animal, because there's some puzzlers that are really attracted to backgrounds rather than foregrounds. So I think that center area where you have the blue lines and it's clearer where some of those white gaps are, that might help them fill in those slots a little bit, that extra bit of line work.
I just love that the little cherry tomatoes you have are all kind of continuing the gradient in different
Yeah.
ways and showing the kind of evolution of ripeness. This is such a fun, delightful puzzle. You know, that some version of delightful, cute, adorable came up in the last puzzle that you had. So
Yeah.
many times we talk to people. So clearly you have a space that in people's minds about how they think about what
Fun
your
and
work.
delightful. Yeah.
Yeah, there are worse things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I think that probably Jake from the last round maybe not getting fun and delightful associated with his puzzles too much.
I mean, there's puzzles for everyone, so.
True fact.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think people think that that this one's just an absolute peach. I would
Ah.
imagine. So that would be, you know, some of the puzzlers are probably thinking it's going to be pretty great.
And we still invite him back.
I laughed. I thought that was funny.
Anything else about this puzzle that you want to talk about?
I feel like we covered so much. I really wanted to. The biggest thing that I had when I was designing it is how I was going to have the gradient go into those darker areas, and I thought apples would be a really good way to show just like all different kinds of colors mixed in. So,
The apple's sort of dead center here.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're kind of just like the big area that, you know, kind of divides everything up. So.
And was this literally you illustrating things, or did you like put together like photos
That's all illustration. Yeah, I kind of did line art first, and then I roughly put in where I want the colors to be, and then I go in and refine everything. And my favorite part, I think, was making the little labels. I like to play around with typography, so it's all like my hand-drawn little writing there. So
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people like to put together text, and this text is nice and it's achievable. It's, you know, compact relative to the size of the pieces, and so I think that adds another component of people can put together.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ways of approaching this. This is really great.
awesome.
Anything else before I let you go, Kelsey?
No, I'm just excited to see, you know, how people like it and how fast it is.
Yeah, you're pretty
Or
old.
slow,
You're
yeah.
old hat at this. I feel like,
I
you know, at this
know.
point, you know, you're putting them up and people knock them down, and we appreciate it every time. Kelsey,
Thank you
sweet,
so
thank you
much.
so much for joining
Appreciate
us.
it.
And congrats on a lovely image. Oh wow. We're crossing the 18-minute and 20-second line, and this speed run is heating up. We can see the progress that Hannah Doyle has made in the lower left-hand corner there. She's using a little bit of an island build tactic where she starts out in one, she picks a feature and tries to drop it right where it's going to go, and then we'll build off of it a little bit later. But starting with those features is really strong. It lowers the noise inside of the piece pile and also makes some anchors that she can use later on. And the
We got Rose Robbins, local hero in the upper left-hand corner, local phenom. She looks like she's working primarily down in the bottom corners.
Yeah, and it looks like she's done some a little bit of a big sort with some of those reds. And I was watching earlier; she went absolutely bananas on those bananas. That the line work inside of there really gave her a foothold to just build right along where those pathways are. There's also a little bit of a gradient on those bananas as well. So if you can see the shading and use like the brightest part of the line, that's one more bit of information that helps you dig your teeth into it.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit of shading. Yeah, you're exactly right. Little shadows.
Yeah. Upper right-hand corner, I believe that's Kathy Reuter, using the puzzle in that portrait mode setup, has already knocked out those cherries in the upper left, the cherry on top, as someone in the comments said, and is also has put several of those jars in, and is similarly to Hannah making a few islands as well. Lower right-hand corner, I think, is that Chloe? I think
it's Chloe,
Yeah,
but I haven't
yeah,
gotten a
that's
good look,
Chloe.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
I don't see any yarn, so I'm distracted.
You can see that Chloe's building out that lower purple section really rapidly, has that full border worked out. She's not going for a perfect placement because this that orange jar might be a little too high up to the right, but that's okay this early on in a puzzle. Oftentimes, just getting them in and set up, you can play with that orientation a little bit. Wow, this is going to be. I think we're going to have a really close set of finishes. And actually, looking at it a little bit closer, Chloe's jar actually looks to be tilted in the right way. It's supposed to be kind of at a little bit of an angle, and Hannah's is still perfectly vertical, probably because she's working through that text little by little, and then we'll make the orientations. You can see that this jar here is supposed to be scooted up just a little bit more. Those kinds of shifts might cost down the line if you're using those as anchor points for where you're looking visually.
I do feel like this puzzle is going to be a bit of a breath of fresh air as a sort of finishing puzzle, as a final flourish. I think it's a great puzzle to end on. We have Ali Arundel in the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah, and look at her build field. She's also decided to go for a portrait setup. She has a big island here in the middle. I think it's probably the jams and a few strawberries that are all connected to each other. Really cruising through. Those blueberries went in early as well that are close to the bottom. I think those kiwis have been a good texture for a lot of the puzzlers. It's a unique color, it's a unique texture, and they're right next to each other. That's often the low-hanging fruit that the puzzlers want to grab early on, where it's straightforward to see and assemble inside of the field.
Low-hanging fruit, I appreciate that.
I thought you might.
I need some sort of thing that I can do like mild applause for every time you do something like that, because I want to make sure that it doesn't go unappreciated.
I think in the lower right-hand corner, we'll try to double-check the name here.
I think that's Jen Sipple.
Oh, it is Jen Sipple. Jen has that full border almost worked out. For those of you who are more listening than watching, there's a little bit of this rainbow that starts in the purple in the lower left and then eases through greens and yellows and orange to the upper right, with some red cherries on the left. And it's a really interesting way that Jen Sipple's going about this. I tend to think of it as what she's doing is a little bit close to chaos puzzling, but what she's doing is delivering sections into field and then is building around that. She's hopping from project to project a little pretty aggressively, which is one way to make sure that you don't get bogged down too much. You can see that those kiwis are placed a little high into the center inside of her build field. Eventually, they're going to have to migrate down over to the side, though.
It's amazing to me how clean Hannah's build area looks. I think you've mentioned that in the past, but it's just so it's devoid of other kinds of pieces, which is sort of contrary to some of the work that we've seen her doing. Not a lot of pick and place in this one, so it's not a lot of in-field pieces just kind of hanging around.
And look at the progress in the upper right-hand corner. Mari Black might be a little in the lead or about even with Hannah at this stage. Has that full border, that lower left-hand corner of those blues and plums coming into play. That upper right with the jam flowing pretty quickly. This is going to be a tight race for the top 5 and the top 10 overall with the way that the field is standing right now.
How does a puzzle like this play into Mari's capabilities?
It's very much her jam. Mari is really good at being an island builder, and the color distinctions here, you can treat this mentally very much like a collage because these projects are distinct. You can be small and targeted, and when you can see them clearly in the pile, like you're seeing right here, she's going to go and search through the pile. She started at the lower left, and then she's going to lawnmower her way back and forth through the pile. So that way she gets a really good look at the pieces that she's going to want to have. You can see her tracking through the rest of it. And that's a way that you can stay targeted during your search field. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, this is Irina. Irina's done a pretty hefty sort. She's already put those yellow pieces over on the left-hand side of the puzzle, so that way she doesn't have to make that extra travel down the line. Has some of the greens down over here too. Irina's doing a great job. You can see that she's been standing the whole time here, and that helps her get a good face-down view on the pieces rather than sometimes getting sort of waterlogged on strange angles that you see if you're sitting down.
Really, it makes that big of a difference.
It can for some puzzlers.
Yeah.
Every bit of information goes a long way. If you have a little bit of glare on the pieces, that can affect what you're seeing. There's some puzzlers that if they're looking towards their left and then they swing to their right, even that kind of motion can change the visual field just a little bit.
So one of the things I learned when I had you and Mari on my podcast recently was that you talked about this sort of lawnmower, but more importantly, like having a approach to scanning the entire field of pieces. Talk a little bit about like what was interesting to me is it wasn't just like be ready to do that. It was like practice this, make it central to how you do things. What is the value of doing that in particular?
So one of the things that and part of it depends on what strategies you're trying to employ. But if you're trying to get a full group of pieces to target them and assemble, you want to make sure that you're looking through the whole pile effectively. I'm gonna use Kelly's field here for just a second. But if you look over in this corner and then this one and then pop back here, something like that, your eyes may not be tracking and you'll skip over the pieces that you actually want to pick up. Not that Kelly's doing that right now, it's just drawing on there. But being able to see those pieces consistently is really important. And that's why practicing that method, so that way when the adrenaline hits, when you're excited, your body knows what it needs to do in that moment.
Right. So it's part of your automatic box of tools that you build up so that, as you were talking about in previous streams, you can work some process and also you have just skills that you can just engage and are at the ready for whatever the circumstance requires.
And we're crossing the 26-minute and 20-second line here. Look at the progress that Kelly Walter has made in the upper right-hand corner. That is absolutely amazing. That whole left-hand corner is locked down at this stage. She still has this rainbow setup. It looks a little chaotic, but for Kelly Walter, she digs out of it so efficiently. Those jars are coming into play, and then she's going to be able to use that like anchors and branch out from there.
Yeah, and it looks like Hannah's starting to anchor in some middle pieces to connect some edges from one side into the other.
I think in the lower right-hand corner, I believe that's Sky, one of the Dolores Park puzzlers, but Sky is just an amazing puzzler on her own. You can see that she also went for those kiwis early on, and I think in the upper right-hand corner has that one of those mango jars already worked out. And yes, that whole lower left-hand corner is completely built out. I'm excited to see that. A lot of puzzlers, whenever they see dark colors, they tend to shy away from it because usually black, dark purples are difficult to distinguish. And so many of the puzzlers are saying, hey, this is unique and it stands out in the pile compared to some of the other brighter colors. Let me get a foothold here and make progress.
So we're seeing a lot of people tackle sort of the edges towards the middle. The middle doesn't seem particularly complicated. Do you think that there's something about the middle that people want to shy away from, or is it just that the edges are really target rich, they're easy to do, and there's a lot of other things that connect into them?
Well, I'm gonna pull up the image here for just a second to talk about that. If you look at the dead center of this, there are multiple colors all right in the middle. And so that means that you might end up going for yellow, and that little bit of yellow ends up over here, that little bit of red might be over here. So if you can work on projects that are very, very distinct early on, once you get down to this stage, you're working on the leftovers rather than trying to untangle a lot of the other projects.
So in a way, this is obviously this is a gradient in the bulk sense, in that you're going from one color to a slightly different shade of color in different objects, but you're really treating it, as you described it, in a gradient pursuant sort of way, where you're like, okay, what's the most thing that stands out? Let's do that, and then let's not do the middle things. Like, let's go from one extreme to another extreme. Is that how you would think about it?
Yeah, we tend to think about it in terms of what is the most unique, right? If you can start narrowing down your field of vision and breaking the image that way, then you have more information the next time you go through. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, I believe that's Fifi, has that whole right-hand corner of those oranges pretty much built out. One of the few puzzlers that started up in that corner rather than in the purples, which is absolutely amazing. And this is one of the things that I love about speed puzzling. There are so many different routes you can take in terms of order, but the process tends to be very similar overall at the end of the day. Oh, wow. Jen Sipple in the lower right-hand corner. You can see that she's, just in the last couple of minutes, made a couple of really big moves to clear out the center of her build field. So now it's it's much tidier than it was earlier, and you can see how organized those pieces, those projects are. That's the kind of quick readjustment that a lot of speed puzzlers make whenever they start to load up a little too much. They'll go, okay, I have a bunch of projects. Let me finish one out before I move on to the next one.
And at what point are you setting aside, like, it looks like maybe I can't tell if she's got projects in the middle or the pieces are actually placed pretty much where they are. But if you're sort of I've seen people put projects sort of where they think that project is going to manifest itself. At what point do you, like, decide that being there is providing less value than it being out of the puzzle and having that clarity?
When it starts causing you trouble.
Oh, okay.
Right, which is overly simplified. But like right now, several of these purple pieces probably need to migrate a little bit to the left. But Jen's not working on these greens over in that area, so it's going to cost time to move those if she's just going to if she doesn't need to touch them just yet. Right. So that's part of the mental calculus is, does this need to move now, or can I hold off a little bit, get information, so that way instead of taking the pieces out and shuffling them, can I get to a state where I can just put them in where they're going to belong down the line?
All right, looks like the piece counter's online.
There we go. Lower left-hand corner, you can see that piece counter up and running on Hannah Doyle's table. It's going to bounce around a little bit just because it's tracking frame by frame how many pieces are left. But it looks like Hannah's sitting around 200 pieces or so remaining. Well over halfway into this, and that's what we're seeing here. She's working this very much from the left to right kind of process. She's trying to get rid of as much of the red inside of the pile as she can at this stage, and as much of that dark purple. That way, the distinction between some of those yellows and oranges is a little more clear.
Yeah, the piece counter is going to do its best job of trying to figure out what pieces are out there, and as Hannah puts her arms across it, it's going to block out some of the pieces. So like you said, we'll see that number jump around a little bit, but it's really great for giving us an idea of about how far a person is in the project. And actually, it tends to get even more valuable as time goes on and there are fewer pieces out there and it can lock into those. Thanks go out to Jacob Palawa for bringing this technology to us and allowing us to play around with it. He's here providing support both in terms of Hannah, who is his partner, but also in terms of the technology side of things here at Portland Jigsaw Masters.
Really, really great stuff. I just love how the community keeps raising the bar in terms of technology, in terms of streaming. Like, Rob, you've been huge in that front, and this is just lovely. You can see in the upper right, Irina double checking the box. She switched from standing to sitting down. I think that green section is closer to her, and so she can still have her head directly over what she wants to work on without having to put strain on her back. And now we're back up, probably to get that little bit of angle that's going to make life easier for her. And immediately a couple pieces going just because she can see it a little more clearly.
Do you think a lot of that is intentional or just automatic, the standing up and sitting down?
I think for Irina at this point in her puzzling, that's a reflex. I know a lot of puzzlers have to think very intentionally about doing it. In the upper left-hand corner, I believe... we didn't quite catch the name. We'll double check here in a second. But look at how they started out primarily with that green section. There's leafy lettuce over on that side. So let us ponder how well this puzzler is doing at this stage. Absolutely phenomenal as we cross the 33-minute line. A lot of that green is going to mop itself up, and then she's going to probably transition into those reds. I think she has a lot of space boxed out over here that she can start using shape work in order to finish up. Oh, wow. It just in the last couple of minutes, Hannah Doyle in the lower left-hand corner really cleaned up a lot of this upper corner. There were some gaps where it was just those red sections that were loosely connected. Now she's doing a cleanup of those backgrounds like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to watch Hannah stream on Twitch, one of the great things about watching her is just her assembly is so, like, it's beautiful to watch. Like, it is so precise, it is so clean. Often she's moving from one area to another, attacking, like, coherent objects. And no different here. Like, you can see that she's kind of pushing through, assembling. It just looks great all coming together. Beatrice Endler's sign in the upper left-hand corner. Looks like she also has got a lot going on in the upper right.
Yeah. Beatrice started out with those oranges, went down into the yellows, and I think she's one of the puzzlers that got that apple box worked out as well. It might be the case that once she got the oranges and yellows out, the remaining ones just had to go there. So it sort of revealed itself in the pile in terms of overall assembly. And now transitioning into that upper red, this is going to be a technical section that's a little tricky. Because she hasn't connected that border frame yet, she can have a little bit more room for those spare red pieces within the frame that she doesn't have to readjust or make extra space for. Eventually, she's going to have to make a big join and connect all of that together. And because it's a random cut, that could be a little difficult. Oh, here we go, making adjustments. Is she going to finish the frame before going in for some of that center? I think so. Yeah, she wants to clean up the frame so that way she can then get this jar text shifted over a little bit more.
Yeah, and I did notice Beatrice tends to have a lot of things going on in terms of the puzzle, the playing field for herself. I did notice her clearing out the dark blues and purples down in the lower left-hand corner just a minute ago to try and create a little bit of space to maneuver some other pieces around.
Yeah, you can see in the lower left, Hannah Doyle's down to about 140 pieces or so. It's mostly going to be the bananas and those greens. I think those greens are going to run very, very quickly for her because of how much texture there is on those leaves. There's the pickle jar that's in. Oh, I think she has the pickle jar in already. I think she's going to accelerate here in the last quarter of this. See in the lower right-hand corner, I believe that's Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jean Reuter.
That's Jean Reuter, who's done a great job on the entire bottom section of this puzzle and went for I think that's the apple box early on in the dead center, got through the reds and made the red apple that's going to be sitting there. And then she's going to work her way up into those yellows.
I know Jean and Kathy didn't have the most fun with the last puzzle, so I feel like this has got to be a little bit of redemption for them. Like, this feels much more in their wheelhouse, much more fun for them to be able to puzzle. And, you know, they have talked about this a number of times, that fun is an important part of puzzling. You need to kind of keep that in mind, and if you lose the fun, you're sort of losing the point. So it's good to see them back at a puzzle that I think that they will enjoy.
Absolutely. And, you know, having fun also helps you just be a little faster. When you're excited about the projects you're working on, you tend to move a little bit quicker, right? The slog zones can unintentionally make you physically move slower, which then eats away even more at your times. In the upper right-hand corner, I believe that's Zin.
Yep.
Zin is one of the best pick-and-place puzzlers in the world, and you can see why. She has a whole bunch of pieces in the middle of the field that are placed exactly where they're going to go, and then she's going to be able to use shape work to finish out anything that's in the middle, whereas Hannah is kind of working from left to right, using that color gradient to make progress, really doing a lot of sunbursting. She started in one spot, and then she worked away and rays away from some of those islands. Zin is making more little spots throughout the puzzle of projects that she's assembling, and then is going to fill in the gaps down the line.
Kelly's doing what I think of as classic Kelly Walter, which is like she just gets her head right down into that puzzle. Like, she's going to look at a space really close up.
Well, you know, why not? If you want to see something, get in there and get looking at the details. I love the way that Kelly is able to like maneuver her body so that way she can see exactly what she wants to. The build field here, she has almost the whole bottom half of this done. She has already separated some of those oranges that are going to go into frame over here, and these reds are ready to hop in. Kelly has one of the fastest closes in the world, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a runoff between Kelly and Hannah. Hannah has about 110 pieces or so remaining. It's all in those yellows that are going to be left, and Kelly is going to be working from the inside out. You can see that she's getting some of those oranges built out at this stage.
This is so exciting.
Oh wow! No, this is going to be absolutely absolutely riveting as we're coming up on the last little bit. We're crossing the 38-minute and 20-second line. So if anybody tried to guess what I did, I apologize for that one. But this is going to be really cool. Hannah Doyle now able to use a lot of shape work going into the bananas section. Going to be able to use both the lines and the color in order to make progress there. Kelly Walter, you can see that she's using her left hand to stabilize those pieces. Really important for a random cut that you're not super familiar with is being able to make sure that those pieces aren't going to flip out of place and start causing problems down the line.
Now, I want to point out that they've got both Kelly and Hannah, you know, something like a little under 20% of the puzzle left, and it still looks like a lot of pieces, although decreasingly so. But it just keep track of how fast this all comes together, because it looks like there's a lot of pieces, it looks like there's a lot of chaos, but I am continually surprised when I see a huge mass of pieces, and then the next minute they are entirely gone.
Yeah, some of these puzzlers are able to get upwards of 21, 27 pieces per minute in towards the close.
Okay.
I've seen it happen.
My jaw literally hit the floor, so that's why you reacted to that.
Yeah, whenever it's at that stage of pure shape work, maybe a little bit of color, some of these puzzlers can absolutely fly. So you can see these pieces disappear really, really rapidly. It looks like Hannah's down to maybe about 70 pieces or so. It's all in that yellow, and it looks like Kelly has most of this upper left-hand corner, those cherries, in order to fill out. I wonder if getting that border in will give her shape that she can then finish up on. We haven't seen her really go for border first for some of these other sections, though.
It'll be interesting to see as well as that everybody seemed to, or a great number of people seem to start off with those cherries as an intuitive thing to get going. And I wonder if that leaves her something fairly straightforward to finish on at the end.
Jen Sipple in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that she has a lot of green pieces on the left-hand side that are going to need to migrate over to the right. And I think it's Chloe down here in the lower right.
I think that's right.
Is going to need a similar situation, has to make that big transfer. Hannah has all of those yellow pieces on the same side where they're going to go. You can see there's a little bit of separation of those background pieces that don't really have a ton of yellow on them. Hannah's probably in the lead at this stage. You can see that Kelly does a lot of shuffling of the pile. She tries to rearrange it a little bit, move it around until the right colors or textures jump out to her, and then she goes in and grabs them as rapidly as she can.
This is a great contrast in high energy approach in the upper left-hand corner and lower energy approach in the lower left-hand corner, which isn't to say that Hannah isn't trying hard and working fast, as she clearly is, but Kelly just drives a lot of energy into her hands, into her head, into her body, and that drives the pieces around the entire playing area, whereas Hannah is like very calm, focused, at least in appearance, if that's not what's going on in her head. She finds exactly the right piece, takes a little longer to get it and put it in exactly the right place in terms of how fast her arms are moving, but that accuracy really makes up for the speed.
Yeah, piece count wise, Hannah is down to the last 40 pieces or so. Little estimate with our piece counter, but it's doing a great job. I think she's well ahead of Kelly at this stage. Hannah might be able to run away with this if she can keep this pace, keep using that shape work. You can see she's being really active in boxing in the sections that she wants to work on. There's no more space for islands at this point. If she drops something in, might have to keep readjusting. So she's just working off of things that are already assembled, and it is dwindling quickly. Look at how we're already down to 30 pieces remaining or so as we cross the 42-minute line. Oh wow, Irina has some of those pieces in the red that are traveling halfway across the puzzle over to the other side. And look at Irina in the upper right-hand corner, cruising through a lot of those yellows, and is going to have a little bit of a scattered close here towards the end. But Irina's hand speed is amazing. But it looks like Hannah Doyle might be able to lock up first place. Can she keep it under the 43-minute line? She only has 19 pieces remaining. I've seen her book it so quickly at this stage, and every piece she picks up is going to go in. It's a little difficult to see if there's any scattered pieces remaining at this stage. Irina moving back to sitting down here. Hannah Doyle down to about 12 pieces. There's 10 seconds remaining before the 43-minute line. Is she going to be able to keep it under? Not quite, but I'm fairly certain she has first place locked up at this stage. 8 pieces remaining. It's all in that banana. It's all in that banana section. That little jar of honey, I believe, just appeared, and so now it's fill in on the rest of the line. That shading getting built out very quickly, using that line work. The random cut causing a little bit of adjustment in the line, but she's going to come in first place in the Portland Jigsaw Masters 2026.
Nice.
There it is. Congratulations.
Very satisfying. Well done, Hannah. All right. Well, meanwhile, there's other puzzling going on. Let's see what we've got. I think that we got Sky in the background there, putting together, working through the yellow section, it looks like.
Oh yeah, you can see Sky. After that first applause, we've talked to several of the puzzlers. That's either a rapid encouragement or it can be a little bit of a discouragement. So everyone needs to try to find that encouragement mode. Kelly Walter rapidly finishing up the rest of those yellows. You can see how quickly her hands move to sink those last 2 pieces, and now she's all going to travel all the way up to that upper left-hand corner that has the cherries and strawberries as we cross the 44-minute line.
Yeah, we'll see if the cherries go together like they did for the other people for her. Just working her way from bottom to top here. It looks like.
100%. It's so fun to see Kelly operate because her hands are fast, her eyes are so quick. One of the things I enjoy is that she processes faster than what we can see. So by the time we make a call of, oh, she's doing this, she's already moved on to the next project. She's doing a little bit of tidbit cleanup. She's grabbing those light blue backgrounds, and you can see Mari Black in the upper right-hand corner there, down to maybe about the last 25 pieces or so of those yellows. Oh, there's some more pieces over on the right-hand side, a little bit more of the red cleanup. So I think Kelly might have the piece count advantage. You can see Kelly using that classic Pang perch, one knee on the chair, so that way it alleviates the pressure on the back and can focus just in on what the pieces need at the moment.
So I saw Mari moving some pieces over to the left, and so you've talked previously about sort of having a split pile of puzzle pieces there, but she's clearly doing it for intentional reasons. I assume she's putting the pieces closer to the projects where those projects will end up.
Yeah, if you have a split pile that's not been sorted, that tends to be a little problematic. In this case, Mari's very intentionally got all those yellow pieces on that side, so that way it's a little bit less travel and it's a little clearer on which shade is going where.
Now, Mari is a huge closer, and she's got more pieces, but it looks like she's sinking them a little bit faster. So actually, I'm really interested to see how this nets out.
Wow, she is playing a quick game of catch up here. It looks like those cherries might be causing Kelly a little bit of problem. That random cut getting to her a little bit at this stage, but Kelly is doing phenomenal to be able to get this much progress in the 46 minutes and 8 seconds. Where hopefully we'll get the clock back up here shortly. But Mari is down to maybe about 25 pieces or so. It's all in that red on that side. You can see she just runs right over to it. This is going to be a runoff between Irina and Mari, unless there's another puzzler that the cameras aren't on just yet. We'll keep an eye out. But Mari is cruising right now. It looks like Kelly is trying to sunburst in from the center up towards the middle. Those two loose cherries might have caused a little trouble. And look, a big rotation by Kelly. She rotated the whole puzzle so that way it's in landscape mode a little bit closer to her. She won't have to stand up and make adjustments. Mari Black flying in those last couple of pieces. That was an amazing catch-up right there. And now she's in pure shape work, zero ambiguity. Whatever she picks up is going to go in immediately. There it is.
Well done. What a close. That was so impressive.
Congratulations, Mari. So that was so wonderful. I know.
Why are you flirting with some of the contestants?
Just the one.
Just the one?
Just the one.
All right. I'm going to tell your partner about that.
You mean the one that I was flirting with? Mari and I are partners, for those of you who are listening and don't know. But on screen, the hunt for the top 5 is still in play. You can see Kelly Walter finishing up those cherries, got the outline of that box, and is now at there might be a missing piece. There might be a piece that's down somewhere. She's checking for something that she's checking to see if maybe one of the parts that she wanted to sunburst off of was missing. Oh, that's
the apple box.
That's what it was.
To your point earlier, it's got some of the same color as other parts of the puzzle.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of the other puzzlers might have run into that same gap. Kelly Walter is a phenomenal puzzler, and she's been doing wonderful. I want to remind folks they had to do that crazy optical illusion puzzle right before this, and so that can throw a lot of people off. But Kelly is going to finish this up just under 48:10. Congratulations!
Looks like she's still got a piece missing, or at least she thinks she does. I don't see it myself, but
looking around, gonna double check.
Peace Talk sticker on her box holder? Not that I'm looking.
It might be there. Well, just the same, a huge congrats to Kelly Walter. 3rd place is an amazing feat in this competition, especially with how stacked the field is. And here comes Sky. Sky closing in on the last 15 pieces of the banana. Is she going to be able to peel off a 4th place position here in this competition? You can see that she has several of those banana pieces on top of the yellow. It means that she'll be able to see them clearly and be able to drop them in. That background working with her rather than against her. Her hands are moving so quickly right now. I can also see Irina coming in on about the same 6 pieces on another cam, but Sky closing this out. I think she's going to be able to latch this in under the 49:15 second line. There it is. Congratulations, Sky. That's a huge accomplishment.
I do appreciate the way that Sky stands. Like she's just got like anchors way out to the side.
That aggressive stance. And here's Irina coming in on the final 4 pieces, using both hands at the same time to get the last ones in. There it is. Congratulations, Irina.
I couldn't tell if that looked like a little bit of disappointment on her face.
No, I know that a lot of the puzzlers are all shooting for the first place slot, and whenever the competition is this tight, sometimes anything that's not first feels like a hit.
Oh.
But Irina's going to be super proud of her position. I think that's it's one of the
Jessica Strites.
That's Jessica Strites.
Yeah.
That slid in under the radar, claiming 5th place there, I believe.
Yep, and then Jasmine Lambert here, also supporting some P-Stock gear. Good on her. That means I'm rooting for her by default.
I'm rooting for everybody to do their absolute best. You can see Kathy Reuter here finishing up the little bits, the little bit of banana edge here, and has some of those yellow pieces over on the left-hand side that she's going to slide onto that tray and then bring it a little bit closer in order to finish this out. I think we're going to be seeing that bell curve of finishers start ramping up here before too long.
Yeah, I agree.
There we go. That was a great move. Instead of picking up each piece individually, she just slid them all onto that puzzle tray and can now deliver them exactly where they're going to go. You can see that there's this errant background piece floating around that may be an extra, or she's going to be able to sink it in exactly where it's going to go as soon as she's out of these yellows. We just crossed the 50-minute and 50-second line. I wonder if we're going to have a few more finishers under the 55 line. Look at it. She's down to the last 3 pieces, 2, 1. Where does that last edge piece go? She can't see it. That might... Oh, there it is. It was floating in the middle. Congratulations, Kathy. I think Kathy and Jean often play for bragging rights, so that might be that might be a component going or a long ride home.
And we got Chloe down in the lower right-hand corner coming to the end. Also in the banana area. It seems like the banana is definitely the fruit of choice for the finishing flurry.
I'm not surprised that some of the puzzlers don't find it appealing, partially because it's a fairly large section, but that color is very samey across it, so you have to do a lot of shape work to get it in. Chloe looking
right there.
Chloe's looking for a missing piece. Is there going to be a 10-second timer? That time penalty may end up costing her the slot. That one piece could do it, but congratulations to Jasmine on a fantastic finish. Chloe did a great job as well. We're going to have to see what the judges end up figuring out on that one. But that's an amazing time. In the lower left-hand corner, you can see Jean Reuter finishing up those bananas. She rotated the puzzle horizontally and is reaching across the field in order to get the rest of those in.
Here we got Caitlin McCluskey in the upper right-hand corner.
Caitlin doing a great job. There are so many fantastic world-class puzzlers here at the event today. So I want to remind folks that some of these times are superhuman, as it were, compared to the average puzzler bear that might try to enter these competitions.
Nice job, Jean.
Congratulations, Jean. Great job. You see Jen Sipple in the lower right-hand corner, coming down to just those leafy greens, trying to finish up that piece puzzle salad. Maybe about 10 pieces remaining in that corner that she's going to try to wrap up very quickly. The upper left-hand corner, that's Fifi in those bananas, trying to get some potassium in order to wrap this up. In the upper right-hand corner, we have Allie cruising through those bananas as well. I think Allie and Fifi are about even, and Jen Sipple finishes just over the 53-minute line.
And that will round out our top 10 right there.
There it is. Congratulations to our top 10. And now the hunt for the top 20 continues. Every piece matters in a competition like this. You can see that everybody's starting to get a little energized. They know that the end is in sight. Fifi has the last 3 pieces remaining, gets them in, floats that, flips one from one hand to the other, gets it in. Congratulations.
That was interesting. She assembled those last 2 pieces in the air and then sank them rather than putting them in place one at a time. That's an interesting
wildly impressive. And there's Allie, just a few seconds behind. That's an amazing effort. Allie's been putting in so much work, and her puzzling has improved in the exact same way. It's so it's so wonderful to see it.
You know, that's a thing that we haven't talked a lot about on this particular podcast or this particular live stream, but everybody in the field is putting in a lot of effort. So many people are, and so many people, as Victor was saying earlier, they were pushing really hard to practice and get better. Maybe this is a good time for us to bring Victor back. Victor, you out there somewhere we can bring you?
Well, while
Yes,
we're
I'm
waiting.
here.
Oh, there he is.
Yay, Victor! So I think you know, we were just talking about how your comment is actually correct, that a lot of these puzzlers out here have just put a huge amount of time and have gotten noticeably better, and they were already great to begin with. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on this puzzle, maybe in compare and contrast to the last puzzle you saw.
Well, it's different in many ways. First of all, it's vertical, so not my favorite. But actually, this image is insanely fun and looks very speedy as a competition puzzle. So I'm very jealous of the participants because it looks really amazing. And I want to give a shout out to Kelly Walter because she was the only person that did the puzzle the way I thought I would do it when I saw the image.
Which is how? Tell us more.
So my first instinct was that I wouldn't want to go for the reds.
Oh, okay.
So I was very surprised that Hannah started with reds, and I was like, wow, why? Because the reds look very tricky in a way that this color has the most repetition of all of them, and also it has like those maybe 3 or 4 different groups of reds, but at the same time the islands are big enough that I wouldn't want to start with them in comparison to purples and blues, because what I think I would do, of course it depends on what the pieces look like on the table, because what I thought was I would start with the blueberries. And I would go for is it radish?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be those 2 things that I would start with. Then using the small thing from the radish, I would do the 2 purple fruits. Then close the jar, the purple jar, with wild berries, and then do grapes, and then go instantly into greens, because all of the greens look different from each other, and also there's a lot of details on them, so that would be fun. I wouldn't start with the lettuce because this is the only part that is not detailed, so my kryptonite. But then I would go up basically, so the whole puzzle would be like from bottom to top. And yeah, the oranges would be interesting because I would try to avoid yellows as much as I can for some time. But I don't know, it would be, when you see the pieces, then I would know for sure. But it looks like those 2 jars are very different from each other. There are also 2 peach pieces. So this is also very nice to open up the reds that have the repetition around those pieces. And also the mandarins pieces are kind of connected to the border and also connected to the 2 oranges in the corner. So this is also a good opening for them, even though this is a repetition. And then you can kind of go from all directions into yellows and to reds. So basically what Kelly did.
If there is ever a clear indication of why you're the World Series champion, it's because of the thorough analysis you were able to throw out line by line as to the procedure here. When you see puzzlers thinking about this, do you think that their movements and their eyes can often match what their brain knows they want to do, especially in a competition like this?
I know that for me it's not working like this all the time, and it would be fun if it would, and sometimes it. So I hope for the participants here it worked like this. But yeah, life happens. Sometimes our hands do something and we are just on standby in general. I've had conversations with people that sometimes you're doing the wrong thing, but your body is doing the thing and you're just standing there looking at yourself like, what is this?
I know better than this. What am I doing?
you just cannot stop. It's just so much stronger than your own will in the moment, in the competition adrenaline. So yeah, this is also a skill that you have and train to be able to kind of step back, not only mentally but also physically from the thing you're doing.
Now, Victor, you said that this wasn't your favorite in that it was a portrait and you prefer landscape mode, but this feels fairly rotatable. Would you not have put it into a landscape mode and attacked it that way, or does it feel like really you want to attack it in the orientation it's meant to be in?
To be honest, I would say that, yeah, no, I wouldn't rotate it because the image itself, to me at least, feels like it has gravitation. I don't know how to explain it, but when I look at it and I imagine it being upside down, it wouldn't look right. And I know sideways is different, but like I think from the direction where the light is hitting the objects, that would probably be more difficult to me. Because when you look at the cherries, the light is from above and not from the side. Like I think that there are so many things that I cannot really point out on the image, but I think it would be messing up with my head if I rotated it.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting because it speaks to how you are envisioning this as a sort of a whole construct with lighting and shade and atmosphere and parts, and all of that gives you clues as to how to approach the puzzle in a way that I honestly never really thought about before. So the fact that the shadows would be showing you that the orientation is wrong, maybe the text in the jars is hinting that it needs to go away. There's a little bit of perspective maybe in how it is angled in. All suggest that it wants to be away, and fighting that way is counterproductive for you, it sounds like.
Yes, but also I'm thinking in terms of grid cut. So maybe for random cuts, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And also I have to admit, while I was watching the participants, and also when I was looking at the image, I haven't seen the tablecloth underneath. So I only learned about it because Jim mentioned it.
Well, it's
and I was like, yeah, sure, there is one.
Yeah, it's in there. At first glance, it's tricky to see, but once you're in the pieces, it shows up a little bit more.
Probably, and I think it helps like separating the pieces from the orange section to any other section, probably.
Did anybody tackle this puzzle in a way that is extremely against how you would do it? I know you said a lot of people started in the upper left and that's not how you would do it, but anybody do anything notably different than you would do?
Well, I think the best example would be, I think it was Kathy Reuter, who first of all rotated it, but also this was very interesting. I would never think about it, like because it seems almost like a byproduct of being a very good Paris puzzler, because she rotated the puzzle and she started doing the bottom section, so she was doing the blues and purples, but she was doing it like standing sideways to the table, so she was actually doing the puzzle vertically for a good chunk of the time, even though she rotated the puzzle. So this is something I had never seen before, and I think I have to think about it now. So thank you.
Well, awesome. On that note, I want to say thank you, Victor, for taking some time out to give us your expertise. It's been enlightening and enjoyable as per usual. Where can people find you if they want to hear more about you?
You can find me on Instagram and on YouTube. It's the same on both. It's victor.dpuzzler.
Awesome, Victor. Thank you again so much and have a great day.
Thank you very much for having me. See you.
I love getting to pick Victor's brain on anything
100%.
and everything. He's just a fountain of knowledge.
Yeah, he just has so much information in his brain and is so thoughtful. I say this all the time. He's extremely thoughtful about every aspect of puzzling. In a lot of ways, that reminds me of how you and Mari think about things as well. It's like, what does everything mean here? How can I gain the slightest bit of advantage? How can I apply that to how I do things to get that just that little bit better?
In while we were talking to Victor, we've had 25 competitors complete this puzzle so far. We're at the hour and 3 minute mark. This is the one. This is the one, Rob. We are going to clear the room on this one. We have about 55 minutes remaining in this competition. I am Team Believe. This is a solo puzzle, but we are all on the team of clearing the room for this one. And I want to point out, we had 17 finishers under the hour line. That's absolutely impressive.
Yeah, that is amazing. Welcome back to the table, Mari Black and Kelly Walter.
Hello.
So maybe a contrast in styles from this puzzle from the last one?
I'd say so.
So,
We'll take it.
Yeah. What did you guys think about this one compared to the other one? Or just, what did you think about this one in general?
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you for the pretty image.
It was very fun. I think everyone, general consensus is everyone enjoyed it. Not that we didn't enjoy the other ones, but
Right.
to a different degree.
This one felt like I was saying earlier, it felt like a breath of fresh air. It's like okay, now I can just sort of relax into a nice, pretty, straightforward in a lot of ways, it seems, puzzle to finish the day on.
Well, I wouldn't totally go there. It's challenging. There are a lot of little snags. The peaches are very strange and weird. The strawberries that are tempted a lot of people early, including me, are actually much tougher than they look. Like, the way it sits on the cut is very, very, very challenging. But I always think about like the relationship you have with the puzzle, because like, yes, the puzzle doesn't care what you think of it, but puzzles have attitudes and they're saying something to us. And this one says, all right, let's see it. You know, like it's interested in seeing our best. That Paris puzzle was not interested in us at all.
It didn't care about your feelings or you as a human or anything.
It didn't even believe we existed. So it was nice to have somebody who was, going to talk to me and be like, hey, you want to figure this out? Why don't you try this? What about this? Oopsie, no, let's try this.
So, Kelly, we were just talking to Victor Kacperchek, and he was talking about how you were one of the few people who did the puzzle the way he would have done the puzzle, which is to say, worked sort of in the lower left-hand corner and then ended up in the upper left in the red. So what drove you to take that particular approach?
I like blues, and then I could tell that the other dark pieces were super easy to differentiate. They were all right next to each other, and I could orient them based on color. And then the leaves were also different colors. And once you boxed in that green leaf in the bottom right, it was really easy. Also, I'm honored Victor said that. When I met him in Germany, or when I saw him in Germany, we talked about how we puzzle the same way. He's just like 10 times faster than I am, so it's an honor.
I mean, Victor will tell you, as he told us, that a good chunk of that is just doing the reps, right? He's that Victor really lifted himself up from being good to being amazing. Yeah. Mari, how did you approach this puzzle?
I also started blues. I like the blue-purple kind of situation. Who doesn't love a blueberry? So I started down there. The labels were really fun to just grab and throw those anchors in. And from there, I actually jumped around a lot. I determined that I was not going to get stuck on anything. I almost made it. Curse you, peaches.
So what is it about the peaches that cause grief? Because they're relatively small. They don't seem aggressive when I look at them.
It's all about how it sits on the cut. So they sit right at the intersection of how there are a bunch of those tiny little trick pieces in there, and right at the intersection of very, very strange things. So I wasn't the only one. I've been hearing some griping about peaches on the floor.
I would think some of the red outline going into the orange looks like it goes. I would think that the red outline going into the orange sits in a couple of different spots on there.
Well, that part wasn't the worst, I thought, because it was actually very easy to pull, very, very, very clear what was peach and what I was thinking maybe it get tangled with the orange. I found it totally clear.
I did. I had no issues with the peaches.
Oh,
I
well.
think maybe my cup was a little millimeters off, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah. All right. Good. I'm glad. Somebody should.
You see them on the screen in close up there, and they're covering a fair number of pieces, more than I would have guessed.
It's about the intersection. Yeah, where it sits on the cut really matters.
Yeah. I don't know if you had done the box of apples before that, but it just went right off of that.
Yeah. That when I finally got the box in, that's when I should have done the peaches. I tried to do them earlier. And that was a mistake. And then I tried to do them not as earlier, and then not quite as earlier again. That was the problem. But other than that, the idea was just keep moving on.
It was interesting watching the close for both of you, because Kelly, it looked like you were struggling a little bit with the cherries in the upper left-hand corner, and Mari, you were well behind about the part where Kelly, you were heading in that direction. But we know you as a monster closer.
I love a close.
Felt like a monster close, like that. It wasn't that, like, I don't want to make it seem like Kelly was struggling in that area that you passed her.
Was.
But like Mari, you had probably twice as many pieces out on the puzzle as Kelly did, and they came together so fast.
I will fully admit I was showing off at that point because the camera
You should do that more.
the camera was not on me the entire time, so I figured I was like way behind. But I was like, okay, whatever. They were right up in Kelly's grill the whole time, so I'm like, Kelly must be killing it. And I looked, I'm like,
Kelly
I'm
was
not
killing it.
far out from where Kelly is, and I've been sitting up on this microphone yakking about the clothes all weekend. I wonder if I can close in a way that's going to get the camera guys' attention. Can I throw enough dust into the air that they're like, whoa, look at that? And so that was a full-blown show-off, and I maybe shouldn't have done it, but it was fun.
I mean, if you're going to show off by closing that fast, that feels like a thing you just should always do.
I'm like, I don't care what else happened. I'm just going to show my best clothes right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on the missing piece I had in the box of cherries, and the fact I never stand during puzzles, but these are so big that I have to. I honestly
a little bit
was
more why that is.
why
The size of the piece means that you have to stand up.
the size of the puzzle.
Oh, the size of the puzzle.
Like,
yeah.
I can't
It's-
see.
It's just so much out there.
Yeah, I was saying I think it would have been more effective is when I got to the orange and the red. I should have just gone to the other side of the table. But that was not something I ever think of doing. So, but it's just an angle that I'm never puzzling at. So, especially in colors that are hard for me. Yeah.
So it was a hard color, and it's like way over on the other side of the table.
Yeah, I'm like, Mari's a little taller than me.
Yeah.
And she stands. So
I do. I'm faster when I stand.
But she's also did really well. So.
Well, you both did really well. I feel like this has got to have been a good puzzle to have ended on, as fleshing out the system from the last one.
It's a really nice apology puzzle.
My goal was to get it under an hour. Whatever came out, that was my goal.
Achieved.
And I achieved that.
We
so.
all adjusted our expectations this weekend.
We've beaten you down so much. We had Kelsey up here to talk about this puzzle, and it really was the antithesis of approaches in the last one, because she was like, I'm looking to see how can I bring people in, how can I give them guidance, how can I give them objects and textures and interesting things, and also she brings her sort of patented joy and delight into this puzzle.
There is so much joy in this, and that's so funny that she's talking about that, because I totally got that message. This puzzle said to me, hey, what do you got? I want to see. Like, let's play. So
Yeah, it was awesome. It's my first Kelsey suite that I've done, so it was a delight.
I'm just really impressed by both of your puzzling the whole way through. At what stage during like the mid game were either of you like feeling like there was a slowdown? Was there any like maybe this isn't going, or was it just this is a delight for the vast majority of this?
I think the only spot that I really felt like I slowed down was, for some reason, the oranges in the top right like really tricked me up. But otherwise, I felt like the bananas I lined around and then were really easy to get those pieces in, and same with the green leaf. Yeah, I felt like it wasn't really a slowdown until I hit that top right corner and couldn't see anything.
Yeah, we did see a lot of people finish on the bananas. Is that just because they're sort of flat colors, or what about the bananas left most people until last?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was not your thing.
there's a directional line to them that is very obvious once you get in there, but when you have that group of pieces really isolated and everything's boxed in and you can see the shape of where they're going to go, but it's a curved line on a curved line. The Stride sisters were talking about squiggly on squiggly. I definitely was feeling that, so I determined not to go near the bananas until it was time, and once it was time they were pretty easy, but I definitely don't think that that is a before their time kind of part of the puzzle.
So it really needs the rest of the context of the pieces around it and sort of the isolation of that area before you really want to tackle it.
Yeah, you got to be smart about it and like make sure that you are advantaging yourself as much as possible in each section. Like Kelly was saying about the bright green leaf, like that's a nice pull, but you need it boxed in. Like if you just do the bright green leaf, it sits on the cut funny and it's squiggly on squiggly. But if you have the kiwis in and the jars in, then you can kind of follow that channel down, which is much more friendly.
And so, Kelly, the bananas didn't have that same effect on you. You were just sort of taking it in stride as you were working through the puzzle?
Yeah, as soon as I boxed it in, I was like, there's like maybe 12 pieces and like, or maybe 20. And then you put the ones on the outside, like that have like the background on it. And then, yeah, you just follow the lines like Mari said.
Well, I will say I'm very proud of both of you. That was some fantastic puzzling.
Aw, Orange, you glad we're saying, oh shoot, that didn't go very
Oh,
well.
but that was an
good.
amazing try.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Kelly, you want to toss a fruit-related pun into the mix?
I can't think of one, I fear.
Say you feel really cherry to have done that. They made you feel cherry.
What Mari said.
Apparently, we might need to let them go and get their.
I appreciate you all.
Oh, there it is.
Took me a second.
Well done. All right, well, on that glorious note, Kelly Walter and Mari Black, congratulations. Thank you for joining us up here. And I hope you had a great time at Portland Jigsaw Masters this year.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And you guys are really, really, really awesome. So I had folks talking to me over text about listening while driving to your commentary for the pairs final and being able to envision the whole puzzle based on your descriptions, which is just about as high a compliment as you can get. So thank you guys. I don't know if anybody's asked for a round of applause for Rob and Jim, but we should probably do that all collectively. The chat can cheer now. Yay!
All right, thanks, cheerleader Mari. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congrats. I love you, Mari. Those Mari Black and Kelly Walter coming in the top 3 for this Portland Jigsaw Masters competition. I want to point out that as we are rolling in on the hour 15 and 20-second line, we have had 46 finishers so far. We only have 61 competitors. It was originally 60, but we had a dead tie in one of the prelims, so we found an extra table and made sure it happened. But you could see the excitement throughout the room. We can clear the room. It's going to happen. I believe wholeheartedly we can pull this off, team. Just had our 47th finisher, I believe that was Noah. And coming into the last little bit here, can she keep it under the hour 16? There's only 4 pieces remaining. You can see both those hands moving as quickly as possible, trying to get the last little bit of rotation, using the hand to actually feel where the gaps are rather than relying on the eyes. I love it whenever puzzlers do that. Use every sense available. Get those last 2 pieces in. Congratulations.
I don't do a lot of smell-based puzzling, but now that you've said to engage all of your senses, it's in my head. Welcome back, Hannah Doyle. It's good to see you again.
It's good to be back.
So, first of all, congratulations. That was well done.
Thank you.
How did this puzzle feel?
It felt really good. It was like, I feel like people say this where like, it doesn't matter how you place, it's like more about how you feel. And I felt really good the whole time. So I was really happy to like have that kind of experience to end on.
So how did you approach this puzzle?
First, I tried to do the edge, and I got it probably 80% done. And then I grabbed red at first, but then gave up once I got to the strawberries. And then I kind of went roughly color by color, did the purples and blues and stuff, and then the oranges kind of at the same time, and then the apple bowl, and then green and yellow.
So a couple of questions along that way. So you started in the cherries in the upper left-hand corner. We saw that a lot. We also saw Kelly Walters didn't get to the cherries until the very end. What was it about the cherries that brought you in early? Because we were talking to Victor Kaspacek earlier, and he was talking about that the cherries seem complicated, and that wouldn't necessarily have been his first choice.
I think the edge pieces over there were kind of tall, so a lot of that area was already done once you put the edge together. So the actual inner part of the cherries was only probably 4 pieces plus then the basket on the outside. So that made it much easier. But I think I was just also just drawn to the reds at the beginning. So
that color speaks to you?
Yeah, I think it does. I think I'm more into the warmer colors in puzzles usually.
So you said you gave up when you got to the strawberries, and Mari also said, I think, that the strawberries were a bit of a challenge, but I didn't catch why. What about the strawberries threw you? Is it just because they're repeated?
I think, yeah, because they're repeated, and then I think the random cut, the way it interacts with how they're placed made it harder maybe, and they're just kind of scattered as opposed to being boxed in by a bowl or a crate or something, you know.
So, if I recall correctly, you ended in the bananas area?
I did, yeah.
We saw a lot of people end in the bananas area. So tell us a little bit about why the bananas area was the last area for you. Is it because it was bananas?
I mean, I don't mind bananas. I think it was just maybe they were the most uniform looking pieces. I think it was between that and the green leaves. But I think with the green leaves, since they're surrounded by like other things that are easier to do, like the kiwis and the pickles and the jar and stuff.
Oh, they're pretty boxed in.
They're boxed in. Whereas the bananas, like they have just the table on the background, so you are like unlikely to have done those pieces by the time you get to the bananas, I think.
I was curious because we were talking with Kelsey Sweet, the artist, earlier, and she was talking about that it was all sitting on a checkered background, and Jim and I both went, what? And turned to look at it because we didn't notice that. Was that a factor? Like, did that even show up in terms of your assembly, or did you have so many other clues that you could just use those to assemble the piece?
Yeah, I think I was going mostly on other clues because there's like not too much open space. I think maybe the only cue I used in the background maybe a couple times was like shadow. But other than that, like they kind of just ended up being like gaps of one or two pieces once you had done the like foreground objects.
In terms of your style and approach to this, you brought the same sort of calm, cool, collected thing that I've come to take from the Hannah Doyle approach to things. Like it just looks so like it's so placid, but your pick accuracy and your place accuracy is so high that it really comes together amazingly fast. But one of the things that is a nice in contrast to is other puzzles we've seen you do, like the last round where you had to really do pick and place. Like this one. Pick and place is sort of a scattered field in the assembly area, whereas this one was just beautifully cut. Like it was almost like you were painting it, as you were putting it together.
Yeah, it was a lot more organized, just like in my mind, as compared to like the pairs final or the individual prelim I had yesterday. And that's really nice because then like you feel a lot less chaotic. Like I felt like I could really do things kind of methodically and intentionally, and that's a nice feeling to have for sure.
And did you feel like you were particularly speedy on this puzzle, or how was your feel?
Yeah, I felt really good. I felt like it was going really well, and I was just really pleased that it was such a pretty image to end on.
Yeah, it is a nice palate cleanser, I have to say.
For sure.
Well, out of curiosity, what does it feel like to wear 3 different crowns simultaneously?
Familiar, I gotta believe.
I mean, yeah, it's really cool. Like, gotta shout out Caitlin and Chloe and Sky. Like they're just amazing, and I just feel very fortunate to like have them as my parent team. So I just feel very grateful and blessed.
So what are you gonna do with a second sweater?
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna end up needing to like have a whole closet.
It's a really the cardigan last year was really like nice quality. It looks like the same quality this year, so that's really cool. I'll probably, hang them side by side, maybe like somewhere prominent in my home. I don't know.
Have one for Monday, one for Tuesday, that kind of thing.
Yeah, only 5 more years.
Yeah, exactly. It's an investment, but it's worth doing. It's worth putting together a closet collection nobody else will have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anything else that we want to talk about before we let you go?
No, I don't think so. I had a great time. I can't wait to watch some of the live streams back and hear your commentary.
Well, it's delightful. I
have faith. I have faith for sure.
All right. Hannah Doyle, congratulations.
Thank you.
On being the individual champion again for the 2nd year running. Well done. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Hannah.
Thanks.
Hannah Doyle, our first place finisher in the Portland Jigsaw Masters finals. And we are still cruising away as we cross the hour, 22-minute and 43-second line. And we have 57 completions so far. We have 61 competitors in the room that are going to finish this up. I think we're going to be able to clear the room, folks. I am excited. I'm looking around the room. It is there's people milling about. Some people have gotten snacks and gotten food. And look at this this last puzzler here. Getting that lettuce in, let us ponder how they're going to finish this up using the lightest part of the greens and the darkest part, that line work, in order to finish this out under the 125-minute line.
All right, we've got some guests who may actually be able to help us clear the room here. Why don't you introduce you guys yourselves?
Hi, I'm Sammy Brownlow.
And Meredith Yeager.
Welcome. So how did you like this puzzle? I'm curious as to whether this puzzle was a better puzzle than the last round?
I liked it quite a bit.
Did you?
I love a colorful, rainbowy kind of vibe. A lot of good textures to pull. Yeah, I was just vibing. It was a good time.
I was so happy when I opened the box, the bag.
What was your worst case scenario?
I guess just a solid color puzzle.
And anything resembling the last one.
You know, there's a lot of shape work to be done, so
Yeah.
On this one?
and the brands used this weekend in general had a lot of shape work, and
Does
so
that play into your preferences or against them?
the two of us spent some time at Puzzle Parley
Okay.
doing wooden puzzles.
I was gonna say, so you're not unfamiliar with interesting piece cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very detailed shape work. So I figured of all the weekends, this is when I'd be most in shape, is right after that.
It's good. You've been working out and gaining all of the muscle that you need in order to do this.
Absolutely.
Well, was there any part of this puzzle that that put you in a particular pickle?
You know, I did have trouble with the pickles. I had a bad pull. I had a false fit. So yeah, the pickles.
I'm sorry that it might have caused you to be a little ajar there. That was a little tough.
So, Sammy, as part of Wicked Quick, you spent a fair amount of time in this kind of environment. It feels like a kind of abuse.
Yes.
Would you say it's a punishment? I know that
She would not.
on the camera you can't see.
I will hurt you.
Look, I'm getting there. We go.
The first time I met Jim, he just started making jokes, and I just kept looking at him like, "What is wrong with you?"
It's a long list.
We're good friends now. It's fine.
Sammy, you have a question in this stat. Did Chombi have a baby?
Gene Reuter presented me with a mini Chombi, and so now there are two of them, and Chombi is not happy about his new responsibilities.
Yeah, being an unexpected parent is a lot of extra burden.
I know. No one told him. He had no time to prepare, so we're just rolling with it.
So, how have you enjoyed Portland Jigsaw Masters this weekend?
It's been a fun experience. It's a good vibe. It's very different from a lot of bigger competitions we've been to. It's all very contained in the one room. Obviously, different kinds of puzzles, different piece cuts, but it was a fun time overall.
Meredith, what about you?
Well lit, great puzzles, great people, great West Coast energy. Portland's been beautiful. It's been a great time.
You know, we haven't talked really about the lighting. So you feel like that it is because lighting is real hard. I know this is the third year of trying to get lighting right, honestly.
Yeah.
And so this year is actually working out pretty well.
I felt that it was good. Yeah, I've puzzled in a lot of different lighting scenarios, and I didn't think about it at all, which is a good thing.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm thinking about it, so I think that's a good sign.
Me too. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good time here.
Absolutely.
I'm just catching up. I think that we're on the final
We have
two puzzlers.
Two puzzlers remaining, I believe.
Yeah, so
It's looked like Megan McClaffery is finishing up that lettuce, that green zone that's a little tricky for several of the puzzlers, keeping it in under the 1 hour and 27-minute line. Congratulations, Megan. We're cruising away here. Super exciting to see. And there's Terry, and Terry's going to be able to finish up, has about 33 minutes to get those last, I want to say about 45 pieces left.
So Terry's working down in the sort of dark area. Would you guys attracted to the dark area, or did you sort of
I
come to it
started
later?
there,
Yeah?
actually. Yeah.
And why that particular area?
I love purple. Favorite
Yeah?
color. Yeah.
You weren't put off by the fact that it's dark and that.
No, those dark hues really actually jumped out because there was very little that was that saturated.
And so that part came together. And where did you avoid, if anything?
I ended on the orange.
You ended on the
actually.
orange.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
the orange early. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, when we pair together, we go
That
from
works.
cool and warm and meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you guys, when you guys came together as a pair, was it like because you had different sets of skills, or were you like, hey, it'd be fun to puzzle together, let's do it?
We're friends. We just wanted to puzzle together. That was
All of
main
the
reason.
above.
And so it's a joy then to find out that you have complementary approaches to a puzzle.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always the worst when you're like, oh, we should puzzle together, and then you have like the same weaknesses, the same strengths, and then it's like, what do you do with that?
That's right. Everybody's fighting for the same part of
It's
the
like,
puzzle.
I want this guy. No, I want this guy.
So, Sammy, what is something that you and Meredith are very far apart? As just not just colors, I imagine, but is there like textures, gradients, patterns?
That's a good
I guess we learned today how we shape sort is a little
Yeah, how we
different.
shapes. We haven't really like talked about how to shape sort, and especially not on a weird cut like this. And so like we were each kind of doing it the way we wanted it, and it was not really compatible. But like I think we just needed to talk about it and like come up with a strategy that we agree on.
So is it put any more challenging that you're trying to shape sort a random cut puzzle to begin with?
Yes, very much.
So what was your contrasting approaches to shape sorting when it comes to a puzzle like this? Like how do you even shape sort a puzzle like this?
I think our approach to what to do with the weird pieces was where we kind of differed. Like we pull out the standard shapes, like the 3 prongs, the 1 prong, and all that, and then there's all these weird things. And how we approached: do we keep them together? Do we try to split them? What are we looking for when we split them? And that was where we got a little scrambled.
Yeah, I've put all of the ones, both the regular ones and the weird ones,
Yeah.
all together, and I've learned recently that that does not seem to be the popular opinion. So I've been trying to put some space between those, and in speed puzzling, I would never really do like an orderly sort, so everything pointing, perfectly up in the same direction.
Yeah.
And I actually stopped and did do that on that pairs puzzle. It just helped make things a little cleaner for the eyes,
Yeah.
honestly, a little more palatable, a little easier to see.
Yeah, it did help on this, for what it's worth. Like, normally I do that too, where I just make a, like, kind of loose pile of a shape, and that works for me. On this, it did not work as well.
Well, and neither of you are Portland locals, so why travel across the country to be here for this event?
It's one I've always been curious about. Like, I've been watching it for the past couple years, and like, oh, that seems like a fun event, and so we just decided to go for it this year, and here we are. I've never been to Portland, so it's been cool to just hang around and see what it's like.
That's awesome. It was a good weekend for it. Nice
Yeah,
weather.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has us our whole friend group make New Year's resolutions, and I made a resolution that I would try to go to 24 puzzle events this year.
Wow.
2 per month, and I should know where I'm at on that track. I don't right now. I need to check my computer, but I think I'm ahead of pace, and it's just been a good year to get out and travel, and so making it work.
Are you finding that that's getting you to places you would never otherwise go?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It's great.
Yeah, I was going to say, has that been adventureful? Like, I don't know if you end up somewhere in the Midwest where you're like, yeah, okay.
Columbus, Ohio is great, but so is Orange County. All over the country, you find great puzzle people and a little bit of local flavor, and, food out here's been great. Everything's been amazing. So
That's awesome. Sammy and Meredith, anybody you want to shout out while you're up here?
I'll shout out my parents, who I think are watching. So.
Hey, Sammy's parents.
shout out to my parents and Jules and anyone watching on Instagram, anyone watching on Twitch, YouTube. We appreciate the views, and it's good to have you here with us.
Awesome. Hey, Meredith's parents as well. We make sure we include everybody's parents.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming up. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Well done.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
See, we're getting ready to come in on the hour and 32-minute mark. Terry Carmichael closing this one out. She had she said that she wanted her nickname to be the Washington Generals. Here, so the best can have someone to beat. But here's the thing: Terry is beating this puzzle into submission. And her goal was to make finals, and she's here, and now she's closing this out. We are so excited for her to be able to finish this puzzle in the timeline.
So we have some guests who've just come up here unannounced, which is honestly a little bit of insulting. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Rob's wife.
I'm Jim's not wife.
We're the Celebrity Wives Club.
We were told to come check on the boys.
Excellent.
And did you eat your lunches?
Well, Rachel provided us lunch, so I 100% ate lunch.
Jim, did you check in for our flight?
No, not yet.
You had. Did you remember you have to vacuum when you get home?
Oh, no.
I do, because I have a reminder on my Trello board for it.
Oh, that makes one of us.
I've been in trouble enough times. I've figured out how to manage that.
You guys are doing a great job. We just wanted to.
Yay! We love you.
We love you.
Guys, thanks for coming up.
That's so sweet.
All right, so we're actually coming right down to the last person. Did you catch who this was?
This is Terry Carmichael, yeah. And Terry has a secret talent. Terry is a potter and has been taking class for the past several years and is doing a great job putting together these last 4 pieces, closing us out in that cherry zone, going to put a cherry on the top of this Portland Jigsaw Masters solo competition. Down to the last 3 pieces. Can she keep it down under the hour 34-minute line? I think she's going to be able to do it.
She's got it.
Oh, come on. Those last two are just floating. You can do it. We believe in you, Terry. Come on. Congratulations.
Yeah!
Puzzlers, we have officially cleared the room.
Jim bringing his trademark energetic boost into the room as we clear this out. And that brings us to the end of the Portland Jigsaw Masters Individuals Finals. I want to run through some thank yous before I let you all go. First of all, thank you to the Portland Puzzle Company for putting this on, specifically Lane Weatherly, who we have just learned is about to become a grandfather. So congratulations to him. And Andrew Weatherly, our judge, the enforcer, as Jim has called him, who really is behind the scenes making so much of this work. Without their help and support, this would not have happened. It is truly the case. Thanks to this round's sponsor, Kelsey Sweet, our art and design, for the lovely, delightful note on which we were able to end this. I want to say a quick thank you to the sponsors that you see on screen that we haven't had a chance to get a shout out to. 6 Mile Up, Bridgetown Puzzles, Crater Jazzy, Dave Garbett, Good World Puzzles, The House of Moods, Hollywood Theater, Paul Lockhart, Puzzlery, Puzzle Warehouse, our speed puzzling platform Puzzled with Patrick Vanderwall, who made that, and then Zacco, all helping to make the Portland Jigsaw Masters a wonderful experience. I wanted to say thank you to the amazing array of experts and guests who joined us from everywhere, from just at the table to all the way across the world. You guys have made our experience here so much richer. I want to say thank you to the venue here. It's the Avenue Portland. They do a great job. They are all in on trying to make this one of the best competitions out there in general, notwithstanding puzzle competitions. Anytime we ask them something, they say yes, and that also goes for the AV department here attached to it. They do such a great job in providing all of the capabilities and support that we need. And then some volunteers and support that we get otherwise. Jacob Palawu, who's already got some shout outs a couple of times up here. He was in charge of bringing the piece counter to us, which is an amazing piece of work, and you should definitely go check out Knights of the Round Puzzle for other things that he is doing. But then he added his capabilities to turning the QR codes that are on all the tables to a label that pops up automatically on the screen. So the labels that you're seeing when you see who's at a table are automatically being piped up just because the QR code is being read and some databases are being looked up, all in real time. And so he lended his support to making that happen. John Trujillo, who's been in the chat this entire time, making competitions and engaging the folks in the chat in general. And actually, that reminds me, we've got a couple of winners to announce. The winning guest from last round is Owlsworth, who guessed 58:42 against an actual time of an hour 2 and 30 seconds. So congratulations to them for getting a copy of last round's puzzle. And the winning guest for this round was VT Mac Guru at 38:50 against an actual time of 43:20, and that person will win a copy of this puzzle. And that was all done by John Trujillo. Thanks for making that happen. Quinn Hoffman, who is our puzzling platform overseer, so he was the one making sure that everything was working, that everybody could get access to their mobile apps and everything like that. And an extra special shout out to Charlene Chow, our live stream producer, who literally we could not have done this without. She is the grease behind the wheels of everything. I could not speak more highly of an individual bringing value to this than Charlene. So well done, Charlene. Thank you so much. Also to our volunteers. The volunteers, we could not have done this kind of program without, and they are enthusiastically engaged. And I always encourage folks, if you ever want to experience a puzzling competition, but puzzling maybe not for you or not the whole time, come out and be a volunteer. It's a great way of seeing puzzling up close. But last but most, Jim Eakins, my partner in crime for this entire weekend. I want to say thanks, Jim, for being here, adding your amazing commentary, bringing life to not just the live stream, but at last minute we lost our in-room announcer, and you stepped in for that and made people jump up and dance around and cheer and high-five in the most coordinated ways. So thank you so much for doing that. You can find Jim on Instagram at Nerd Puzzle. You can find my podcast, Peace Talks, pretty much everywhere. You can find the the Instagram and at Peace Talks as well. So, Jim, before I let you go, any last words?
I do want to say thank you to all of the puzzlers. The Portland community has been absolutely amazing. I want to give a shout out to my dad and my sisters who are watching. My sisters have
hey,
birthdays,
Jim's family.
so happy birthdays to my sisters. And also just a huge thank you to you, Rob. I know that you do so much behind the scenes and also everything in front of the scenes. Like one of the reasons that this commentary has worked so well is because of how amazing and gracious you are. Your interviewing skills are unparalleled, and everybody should go check out Peace Talks, the podcast, and just hang out with Rob if you get the chance. He is an absolute delight on every level.
Right,
and my new best friend.
My new best friend. All right, and on that note, I think that we are done. So until 2027, thanks for watching.
that supplied some of the puzzles, some of the artists here as well. So I'd like to shout them out. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that it gets done to make this happen, and a lot of volunteers that have helped us. I want to thank all the volunteers. I want to thank some of the team that we have here. I want to thank Ella on the social media side, Brandon on the judging and coordinating side, John there in the back doing some of the YouTube stuff, and Kevin, the super volunteer right there, shouts out. I also want to give a huge shout out to Jim and Rob. They did a fantastic job on the YouTube stream. I don't know if you were able to watch it while you were competing, but I know everybody at home really enjoyed it. It was some of the best commentating that there could be. So thank you very much. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and get the trophy ceremony started. And we will start with the team finals. We have the top 3 right here. So coming in third place, we're not just a flock of geese. Jasmine Lambert, Allie Arundel, Andrea Heiston, and Jennifer Sipple. Got it. Coming in second place, the trade wins, Kathy Reuter, Mari Black, Jean Reuter, and Kelly Walter. And in first place, we have Oops All Yarn. Caitlin McCluskey, Hannah Doyle, Chloe Glickbard, and Sky Vandalist. Alrighty, next we have the duos finals, and we have the top 5 finishers. So coming in 5th, we have the Jade Jaguars, Jasmine Lambert and Jennifer Sipple. Next, we have Twin Sanity coming in 4th. Rebecca Straits and Jessica Straits. Coming in 3rd, podium finish, we have Irina and Jessa. Irina Svedchenko and Jessa Douglas. All right, coming in second, we have Squawk and Guac, Mari Black and Kelly Walter. All right, and number one, we have Women Puzzling Quickly, Caitlin McCluskey and Hannah Doyle. All right, and with the individual finals, we have the top 5 finishers. Coming in fifth, Irina Shvechenko. In fourth place, we have Sky Vandalist. All right, we have the podium finishers now. Coming in third, we have Kelly Walter. Coming in second, we have Mari Black. And our 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters champion, Hannah Doyle. Again, thanks everybody for coming out. I hope you had a great weekend. We all did behind the scenes. Thank you again.